to share something with you. That might put me in a very negative light, yeah.
Relationships are not my forte.
See if someone grabbed up my wife or something, completely different ballgame.
I'll walk away from here, and this has been like a therapy session.
This is Umar Ahmed for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. It's the first time I'm interviewing Kalle Sauerland in Sheffield. We're at the Ingle Gym. He's rocked up like it's a red carpet event.
Fantastic, historic Ingle Gym. You know, the amount of champions that come out of this gym or have come out of this gym is really something that's very special. Puts it on up there with the best gyms in the world. Great to be here.
Absolutely. Of course, you got your second show with Misfits this Saturday in Sheffield. We will come on to that in a second. But Kalle, I'm going to have to start, of course, with last week. Quite a week in British boxing. How do you sum it all up?
It's just like the words I used last week, really, still. It's, gutted. For Junior, for every fighter on that card who done their big camps. Junior, we all saw the pictures, made the weight, looked like he'd really done that in a hard way, and he'd gone through it all, and the fight obviously didn't happen. The fans who found out so late and travelled from all over to be at the O2 for what was going to be a very historic night. Just gutted. I'm gutted for my team, the ones who've been grafting on this event, to put it on for months and months and months, and from top to bottom, simply, gutted.
Now, I appreciate there's some things you can and can't say in this interview. I want to make that clear to all the viewers watching this. My first question is, when you and Eddie got the results back of Conor Benn's adverse finding.
I'd stop you right there. So first of all, once again, when they received the results, so we are two different parties, or we're actually four different parties to separate Eddie and Conor and Matchroom and whatever. So we received the notification, and that, of course, was shared immediately with Junior. That's how it worked. Just it's not that we're one company. It's different people, different entities.
Okay, so when you were notified about that colour, which I believe was a few weeks ago, was your first reaction, this fight can't go ahead? I've got to tell Junior and I can't put my client in there?
The first reaction was, of course, that, because it's not the first time it's happened. The second reaction is because it wasn't under the governing body of the UCAD, was to immediately check what the status is of this. This is also for us a little bit uncharted territories. So it was straight on with the medical experts, the legal experts, etc., where we formed our opinion, and then obviously it was then very much a case of sitting there being told by the lawyers what to exactly do at that time.
I'm not sure whether you can say or can't say, but what was the information fed back to you from medical experts about Conor's test?
Like I said last week, they told us exactly the effects of it, and gave us 12, 14 points around it. Looked also at his levels at the time. But I've seen a lot since then saying, oh, but was he on something else and something else? I can only go on what we've received. Yeah, I don't know if there are other tests, even when I stand here right now. I don't know. I read today or yesterday about a second test. I've heard that rumour a lot, but have we been informed of a second test? Absolutely not. We haven't seen any second test results or anything like this. So, a little bit we're looking on from the outside as well, because they also will be under legal obligations or legal restrictions on what they can say at the moment as well. So, we have to. I can only focus now on what happens next for Junior, and that's really what let's say the new things that I can say today is that we are looking now at whether we are taking a fight, whether this fight is even going to happen. I'm seeing Ben coming out today and protesting his innocence again. That's all well, but obviously that fight can't happen until something is coming out from their side, whether it's let's say a positive or a negative. We don't know from our side, so I can only look at what the options are for Junior. That's what I'm doing at the moment. I spent the last 2 days with Junior in London, and he's actually in let's say good spirits given the circumstances. We had this. He really wanted to do this giveaway for the fans last night. That went, it was fantastic, and I think that took his mind off it a bit. But listen, he's been through hell and back, in this camp, and that's the part that we're ultimately the aggrieved party here. So we have to be selfish as such and look what's best in this situation. That's something that we're busy working day and night on.
Kalle, as I said, we don't know the public the information that was given to. Junior is a fighter. All fighters want to fight. Because there was a positive test and your client was stepping in the ring with him, I guess people say, should you have left it down to your fighter to make that decision? Should you have made the call, or the trainer or his manager?
That's not a legal position for me to decide, is it? I'm not the one fighting. He's the one who's contracted to the fight. So he wants to fight. There's actually nothing really that I can do about that. If he wants to fight, and I say I'll block you from the fight, theoretically you could take me to court. So it's a very it's a very easy situation to comment from the outside on. Yeah? But we at all times did everything by the book, and also with the limited information that we had. And there was I saw a lot of comments on the discussions. Did you have discussions with the board? Well, we immediately tried to have discussions with the board, but the board were being represented already then by lawyers. So the back and forth was with lawyers to lawyers. It was, again, like I said, I thought the handling, I don't know why there wasn't an open line, at least for us. It wasn't that we'd done something wrong, so why did no one come out and talk to us about it? Man to man instead of lawyer to lawyer. That for me, I don't know. We weren't party to any discussions with the board. There wasn't an open line, which I feel that Junior and us as the promoters of the event were sort of owed. At least a discussion on what are actually the thoughts around it and everything else. And that part we didn't. For me is something that I can't comment more on at this time. But that's something that we'll get to the bottom of.
Kalle, what's the process? Of course, it's Eddie's client, Conor Benn, that tested positive. What's the process in terms of requesting a B sample? Does he have to do that? Can you trigger that because you're in that email chain with VADA?
No, that's that. As far as I'm aware, that's completely down to him. It's certainly not down to me.
Did you say to Eddie, can we get that B sample requested straight away?
I have simply left it for our lawyers to go to them and communicate that way. At the end of that, it's not even. I don't think it's Eddie's choice. It's down to Conor Benn on the B sample. So I don't know what route. I don't even know what route they're going down at the moment. And like I said, that's for them to sort out, and we have to sort out our stuff.
You could have ended up in a legal position if you said to Junior, you're not going to get in the ring. It's his decision. The fact that he was on a massive weight cut, there was questions around how much he could put on after the weigh in terms of the rehydration clause. So people were worried about Junior's safety anyways. Then going in with someone where a test has come back positive in Conor Benn, as his promoter, were you not worried about Junior's health and safety going into that ring? Were you okay with it?
Absolutely, and that's something. Of course, last week was a moving target, and that was in the background. Something that was, like we said, ongoing. He also put out things have to be right. So, that's what I would say to that. But ultimately, he was ready to fight. don't think the fight would have taken place at that weight. So that's really what I can say on that.
Right, let's talk about this Saturday night live on DAZN. Your second show with Misfits, as I said. No KSI this week, no Hassim Rahman Jr.
KSI is on the way up here. He will be here tomorrow. He'll be here tomorrow for the press conference. He's looking forward to fight week as well. So yeah, I mean, it's a huge segment, this one now. It's incredible the different sort of walks of life that you come across here. That's all part of the game, and it's fun, and it's going to be a good crowd in Sheffield. And these fights are the ones that will build into the big so-called pay-per-view cards as well.
So Hassim Rahman Jr. was supposed to headline. Are you looking to get him back on a DAZN Misfits show? He's in America, isn't he?
Next month we're out in America with Misfits, and he is boxing Vitor Belfort in Austin, Texas on November the 17th.
What are you expecting from this card on Saturday night, Kalle?
I think fun. Again, like the first one was hugely entertaining. Everyone was sort of on their seats at 7 o'clock until 11 o'clock, massively entertained, and that's what this is about. It's like I've always said, it's about novice boxers who are all celebrities in their segments, and that pulls a lot of eyeballs. But at the same time, let's not get carried away. It is novice boxing, and that can be very fun. Mams Taylor does all the matchmaking, and I think he's put together a great card. There's some very interesting storylines on there. If you look at the Slim fight against Taylor, that's very interesting. It has a bit of a prequel to it, because I think they had a tear up in the O2, actually in the Intercontinental at the O2, where they were both banned from. Unfortunately, that was the team hotel last time for the O2 card in August. And I remember a fight week kicking off with the manager of the O2 telling us that Slim couldn't stay in the hotel because he was banned from there.
Didn't he tell you the same thing?
Yeah, it was, and yeah, he did actually, but for other reasons. I got my ban lifted though, and those are obviously storylines before. It's much wilder than the world of boxing, although at the moment the world of boxing seems very wild with all different ongoings, but this world is even wilder. That's why we call it the Misfits, and it's great fun to be involved with.
Absolutely, everyone tune in this Saturday night. Kalle, just back to Junior, not on last week, but if it's not Conor Benn next, which is a very strong possibility, seeing Liam Smith vocal about him. Kell Brook's in this gym. He's just said, you're looking for an opponent, aren't you? And I know he's training Kell Brook, so he might make a comeback. Billy Joe's rumoured to make a comeback. There's Gennady Golovkin. Are all these names sort of ones that Junior could be getting in the ring with next year?
Yeah, I mean, they're all interesting names, and they're all names we've looked at before. I think, if you look at it, I mean, I saw Liam Smith, of course, an interesting fight. I think Kell Brook we looked at earlier in the year. I'm not sure whether that would be the right move now, given that he's been out, and I don't know whether we go for another camp and someone who's just come out of retirement or got into retirement, whether he really wants to fight, and then we do the camp and then the fight doesn't happen. It'd be a bit high risk, I think. I think Billy Joe's a very interesting one, but that's not going to be, I don't think, the next fight, because Billy Joe, I think, said he wants to tune up first as well. There's a lot of different questions. Do we take a quick fight now just to end the camp? Do we wait till later in the year or beginning of next year? Those are questions that obviously we've been going back and forth from in the last couple of days, and of course we look at that Conor Benn situation, which will develop, I'm assuming, in the next 2-3 weeks, that there's clarity on that.
Has that fight lost a bit of tarnish now, that one with Conor Benn?
That all depends on what happens in the next 2-3 weeks, I'd say. Is it still a big fight? Of course it is. We'd be lying if we said it wasn't, but at the same time things have to be right.
Listen, Kalle Sauerland, thank you very much for your time. No doubt we'll catch up tomorrow here in Sheffield, and keep it 60%.
Absolutely, 75 today.
I'm gonna share something with you that might put me in a very negative light. Yeah.
Relationships are not my forte.
See if someone grabbed up my wife or something, completely different ballgame.
I'll walk away from it, and this has been like a therapy session.